cold. It's a little in the middle of nowhere. You'll see that there's this thing. This is a catered hell. This is a catered hell. You might kind of look at me like maybe this is heaven. I explained this in a video prior, but I want to talk about hell. It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? See this spirit here? This is a deer. It's probably a spirit. See how it doesn't notice me? It's because it's probably a symbol of another dimension overlapping this one. See these trees? In another dimension, there's probably a mountainside, a hill rising up where those trees are. And this is a remark about another dimension crossing with this one. As we go over here, we see there's a sheep. Doesn't know I'm here. But the sheep is not a deer, so it's probably another kind of symbol somebody made. Magically or sorcerically, there are a lot of ways people make these things. You'll see I'm in the snow. I usually use snow to symbolize not heaven. Not necessarily hell, but not heaven. Because snow is cold, and if you stay there too long, you start to freeze. You get kind of cold. You'll see I'm carrying a spear. Which might be necessary in hell. There might be some dangerous things out here. See the spirit on the horse going by there? Still in hell. Some spirit in an overlapping dimension on a horse just crossed by. See this fortress over here. Well, look at this place up here. See this fortress up here? That is probably heaven right there. That fortress right there is probably heaven. So the difference between heaven and hell is kind of like that fortress versus somewhere down here out in the middle of nowhere. So let's see if I can get up there. Birds. See, there are these sort of ghoul skeleton things. I think those are technically called wood elves. It's like a wood golem. So, I'm not here to just play the game in front of you, but hell has two basic forms: ordered and not ordered. And this would be an example of hell when it is ordered. There are people living there, they built the thing. Demons built all this stuff, so there are people living in the middle of hell, they're demons. I guess some people choose to be animals also. But if you are a priest, you probably built some kind of an altar or a shrine, and it's got all these relics and traditions, and that is something that has to do with hell. Now, when we go to heaven, we go somewhere like this, where we talk to heaven, 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 we start talking about archangels. Archangels. Heaven is remarked by archangels. So this right here is probably a faction. So if you can imagine me, if I were an archangel, I'd be standing right here at the gate to this fort. And see how I have a crest, I have an emblem, I have a name. I belong to the Eclipse. So if I had a bunch of other Eclipse soldiers with me, we would form up right here and we would march out of our fortress and we would march into hell. But it's no longer hell, it's technically heaven. That's what heaven is. So the difference between heaven and hell is that there's either an archangel there or there isn't. We can talk about cherubs and seraphs. We can talk about cherubim, seraphim, angels later. But the primary difference is that hell does not have any archangels. If anything, hell has gods. So for example, if you go to hell and you see some kind of gigantic tower, it was probably made by a god. Those exist. Gods are kind of funny. They're kind of like demons, but they're not demons. They're gods. They just kind of walk around in hell and they make stuff. They do all kinds of stuff. When you talk to them, they have some kind of an agenda. There's usually something they do. They're interesting neighbors. And they're gods as well, so they might get a bit fierce. And you shouldn't get in the way. Shouldn't get in the way of angels either. But gods are a symbol of hell, usually. Archangels are a symbol of heaven. So, as you can see, the fog is starting to roll in a little bit here. It's kind of an example of when hell becomes disordered. It just gets kind of messy and gross. So, when hell is not ordered, it turns into a place called the end. The end. And in some ways, hell is everything. live there. Technically live there, but we live in a very ordered place. It's called Earth. So if you live in the end, you're probably just hovering in some kind of cloud. And when you go there, there's a bunch of substance there. It's called end. And it's a spiritual substance. It looks like clouds, but it's not clouds. It's like clay made out of dead bodies. And those dead bodies will look at you, and they'll talk to you, and it's everywhere. And you don't want to talk to that stuff. So you'll see this kind of cloud of yellow stuff, and then you'll touch it, and then a person will lift their head out of the cloud and look at you like a ghost almost, like a spirit, and then it'll start to fly up your nose. That's called the end. And technically everything that we live in is hell. It's just this kind of middle of nowhere nothingness. Kind of like this fog up here, this cold, painful fog. It's called the end. Now those who know what hell is, or what heaven is rather, they start to build something. They start to build a place called death. Death is pretty simple. Death is when you probably find, well, technically, if I go into here and I stare at this wall, see how dark it is? If I go here and I stare at this wall, this is technically death. It's just pitch black. So if I surround myself with nothingness, there's no fog, there's no cold, there's nothing. That's called death. If I build some natural basic form, usually symbolized by rock caves, I enter a place called the pit. So I might have built, if I know some basic sciences and I know how to pray to God, I might have built a place in hell called the pit. It's kind of like this. It's very basic, very rudimentary. The pit is also a jargon that we'll learn about. We'll talk about the jargon later. This is the pit. And I think a lot of you probably already know that. But when you talk about the pit, you usually talk about something very rudimentary, but it's natural. So in death, there's something too rudimentary, which is where everybody lives in a concrete room. That's kind of usually what death is. They live in a concrete room, and there's probably a water bottle and a Bible. There's death. And then everybody eventually graduates to the pit. So if you are an angel, or even a fallen angel, or God, you're trying to build heaven, you have to build the pit. So you might talk about hell, but you have to build the pit. After you build the pit, there's a place you can go. You have to graduate the pit and go to Earth. Earth is particularly denoted by life. See this grass? See this bush here? That's all Earth. There's a spirit hovering right here next to you. That's all part of Earth. Above Earth is technically a place called Hell. So Hell is actually a very holy place. You see these trees here? These symbolize Hell. Hell is typically denoted by fragile amounts of sorceric complexity. So when I see this tree here, I'm looking at some kind of other dimension overlapping this one. And at this point, you're going to start to really appreciate hell. It is actually a very beautiful place because it is fragile and constructed. You might start to think that's heaven. Not quite. Not quite. But the gods go out and they build hell. And the archangels plant their kingdoms into that hell. And then it becomes heaven. There's a castle over here. That's an archangel. There's sort of a volcano manor. That's kind of an archangel. There's a fortress over here. It's probably an archangel. There's a fortress right here. There's a fort right there. It's an archangel. There's a fortress over here. It's an archangel. It's an archangel over here we can visit. Some kind of archangel of some kind of red fire themed archangel. Let me get the point here. There we go, see that guy right there? He's got some kind of uniform. See, there's a nice big castle over there. He's got a big uniform. Some kind of red theme. And this archangel is probably enlisting the help of these kind of conscripts, and they wear some kind of red theme here. So that is what archangels are. But this is probably a fallen archangel. So there are different types of archangels. So this over here is probably a fallen archangel, which is why he hires zombie-like figures and gives them clothing that is minimal. Minimal clothing, some kind of rags, a stick with fire. These are called fallen angels of heaven. Fallen angels of heaven. And they're small and they're complicated. So a lot of what they do is very, very simple. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to antagonize one of these servants, this archangel. So you'll see that they're kind of wearing these rags and they're a bit ghoulish looking. Yeah, they're not fully grown. That's a fallen faction right there. That is a fallen faction. This is a subtype of sovereignty. Sovereignty is the basic precedence that it takes to run a country. And fallen angels are a type of government. And there's 5 basic types of government. There's light, dark, neutral, high, and fallen. And we're over here looking at one of these fallen angel governments. And I look a little bit like a dark angel, actually. I look a little bit like a dark angel. So this is almost like a dark angel fighting some fallen angels. If I wanted to go fight some light angels, I might go over to this place. These guys over here are probably light angels or neutrals. Probably neutrals. Probably neutral angels. Now, if you look at this guy, you'll see that he is technically a bit of a ghoul, a bit of a zombie. So he's still, this is still a fallen archangel over here. If you look at his face here, let me see if I can get a close up of his face. See, he's kind of ghostly pale here. And not just because he's covered in frostbite, but he's kind of ghostly pale here. So that's an example of, it's still a fallen angel, but he's a bit more neutral looking. This is probably a neutral fallen angel, which is a subtype. It's a subtype. So they're light, neutral, dark, fallen, and high. And I am a nice, holy human, so I am not fallen. I am not fallen. Though I can be in some ways if I wanted to. It's a bit complicated. I like to believe that everything is very simple right now. So, when dark angels, let's go over here to this beautiful place. So, some of you might be wondering, why would somebody be a fallen angel? Well, fallen angels are very easy to get into. So the reason you would join a fallen angel heaven is because they're very easy to get into. Very easygoing, very easy to get into. They accept almost everybody. That's usually the reason. I think there are some very complicated ones, and those are a bit different. If you see spikes, those are probably very advanced fallen angels. Spikes and very sharp blades, very scary looking. Those are a more advanced type of fallen angel. Not dark, but they might be dark, but they're usually very advanced. These guys might be advanced fallen angels over here. But this is sort of a dark angel heaven over here. So I want to show you some stuff. This place is a little difficult. This place is a little difficult to show you, but I need to show it to you. Dark Angel Heaven does exist. But once again, Dark Angel Heaven is very holy, so this is still a fallen angel heaven, technically. But it is much holier, probably a lot more difficult to get into. So it's probably a type of fallen angel heaven that's very holy, but it's still a fallen angel heaven. It's filled with zombies, lots of... The ruins aren't really important, but it's definitely denoted by beings who are not fully grown. And if this is a dark angel heaven, it's probably because I'm the only one here, except as implied by the architecture. So you'll see that there's this very beautiful theme going on over here. There's a society, and it might be a little weird in the middle of nowhere, but it is actually a dark angel society. So a lot of people are thinking about dark angels like they wear black. Everybody needs to kind of graduate from that. I go over here. This might be an example of a light, of an angel of light heaven. Over here. But it's still a fallen angel of light heaven. Because this game is particularly fallen. It's raining a little bit, but you see the doves, the birds. It's really pretty. This is kind of an angel of light over here. This is probably as light as it gets in this game. If I show you a neutral, I'll show you a holy neutral actually. Place over here. This might be a neutral dark. This might be a dark angel, actually. I'll think about that. It's neutral. It's a neutral angel. I know you see dark colors, but it's probably neutral, and I'll tell you why. Because it's beautiful, like an angel of light. Dare I say, this is actually an angel of light. This might be an angel of light, actually. Yeah, this is one of those this is an angel of light that wears dark colors. You'll see what I mean. Visit something. Ow. probably an angel of light. I know it takes place at night, but it's probably an angel of light over here. Different kind of light. Not so literal. Really, the only way you can teach about angels of light is to do it at night. You'll see that everything here is very happy and peaceful. It's not melancholic. There is some war over here, but you'll see kind of what they represent. See if I can get over there. Shoot. Very pretty place. Probably an angel. This is an archangel of light, probably. Archangel of light. Very pretty place, very peaceful, not melancholic. It does not have dark themes, actually. The only darkness it has would be the lack of daylight, which is not relevant. So if we go over here to meet a dark angel, let's go down here, actually. Dark angel. No heads. Interesting. Some of these guys here, they got no heads. Let's go to another place. Volcano Manor. There's going to be a dark angel over here, actually. It's a pretty good one. These are still fallen, though. Fallen angels are below angels. It's a type of sovereignty that's based off of debt. And we'll talk about that. Very complicated. We'll talk about that in a moment. These are probably some dark angels right here. If not dark, then neutral dark. They're lava themed. They have to do with snake venom. They're a bit meaner. Tend to bite. Feisty. I'm a feisty angel. Here's a guy who's paralyzed.
Kill him. That horrendous serpent. Praetor Rykard.
Especially if you step out here, you'll see the themes are particularly dark. I'll show you this. Probably a dark angel. But at the same time, these are dark fallen angels. You see how they hire... See this god here? He's got like... His feet are kind of gross looking. A bit of a zombie. This is probably a black batwing angel. A bit spooky. So still technically not a dark angel. So what is a dark angel? Dark angel is going to be very holy, but they're dark for some reason. So if you look at me as if I'm the dark angel, and this is a house of, let's see, this is, so everything out here are probably some fallen angels. Probably some fallen angels. I suppose it's possible that dark angels can hire fallen angels. I suppose it's possible, but I'm not certain. I'm pretty sure fallen angels are supposed to go to the other place over there and leave the dark angels alone. So here's some dark angels. This girl's a dark angel right here. If you met her, she'd be kind of... Can you talk a
The
little bit?
letter describes the task the Volcano Manor desires you enact. You will be compensated once the deed is done. Good luck.
She's talking about killing somebody. Supposed to go kill somebody. So she's a little bit of a dark angel because she phrases things darkly. Her house is themed in badass ways. I am a dark angel. I'm very easy to understand and is a little bit frustrating to me because I am going to be one of the only dark angels people understand. So if you see me, you've actually probably met me recently. I'm one of the few dark angels you guys have ever met. All the other ones, you might be thinking about the Grim Reaper. Those are technically all fallen angels, and they're there to teach people about dark angels. So he teaches people about dark angels, but technically he himself is not a dark angel. I am a dark angel. We can go over here to Ronnie's Rise. This might be an example of some neutrals. I think this is the cuckoo or something, but these are probably some neutrals. You'll notice that neutral angels, their theme doesn't bite so much, but it's not so light that it's singing Alleluia. So those are neutral angels. Still very beautiful. Neutral angels are very beautiful. I was considering being a neutral angel, but it's too neutral. I'm not sure I'm into that. I think I'm definitely interested in being a dark angel. If not a light angel who wears black. I'm a very particular type of dark angel. You'll see what I mean over time. So this is probably a neutral territory over here, neutral angel. It's a little foggy, still beautiful, but it's not so light compared to, say, Altus, this golden city over here, which is probably one of the holiest places in the game. I want to talk about high angels now. High angels. Probably Gold Mask, actually. Gold Mask. Let's see if we can find him. Dr. Gold Mask. The Noble Gold Mask. Let me see if I can find this guy here. High angels. This is still technically a fallen angel. But it's going to serve as a visual aid for what high angels are. Let's go seek this gold mask fella. Oh, he's not here. Okay, I think he disappeared. Alright, there's a guy standing over here somewhere. Let's go over here, actually. Gold mask is kind of a... maybe white mask far, eh? Not those guys. It's not white mask far, actually. Rose Church. White mask far, That's kind of a good example, actually. It's probably a high angel right there, actually. These magic scarabs. Let's go talk to this guy. Probably some neutrals. These frog people might be Angels of Light. That's a continuation of Nokron. Talk to White Mask and Far over here. Here we go. This guy's kind of an example of a high angel. Now, when you hear about the word high angel, this has to do with sovereignty. And when you talk to this guy...
Ah, my lambkin. You've completed your final trial. And with this, you are a formal inductee. A knight who will assist Luminary Moog, the Lord of Blood, in the establishment of a new dynasty. Now, give me your finger. This noble blood will be an immutable badge of honor once it settles inside of you.
This guy here is probably a high angel. Now this is probably this is going to be really weird, but this is probably a fallen angel depiction of a high angel. So you might be thinking gold. Gold is too easy. I don't want to talk about gold anymore. Okay. No gold. But this is a type of sovereignty that is actually above regular sovereignty. So you'll see that this is a church right here. This is a chapel. So this technically belongs to a high angel. It's almost like the referee forms its own kingdom. That's a high angel. So if you consider that the church turns into an archangel and starts attacking people in heaven, that is a type of high angel. Team Jesus, almost. So that is what high angels are, but they come in other forms also. And I think the way I described a high angel is they take on the roles of the Lamb of God. That is a very complicated subject, but if you read the book of Revelations in the Bible, the Lamb of God has to do with God's job. There are a bunch of interesting things that only God can do, and that's what high angels participate in. So, to be a high angel typically requires God's power and interaction with God in order to experience things only He can experience. So, I'd be a dark angel talking to a high angel over here. So, high angels are these kind of these fancy bastards, actually. They kind of go across the land and they make rules and they kick down doors and but they're fancy about it. It's kind of funny. They're usually very intellectual and they are very highly pursuing. They're usually pursuing very intense wealth and things that only God can provide. This is like the basic example of a high angel is when White Mask Vare, if you imagine White Mask Vare here, shows up, but he's got a crew, he's got an army of people just like him wearing white masks or something. That would be an example of a high archangel. So let's go try to find a different example of a high angel. It's not going to be White Mask Vare, it's going to be something much more remote from the church. It's going to be probably a Titan. So we're probably going to go over here. Millennia? No, not Millennia. Let's see here. Angel. That's another example of a high angel. They kind of come out of nowhere. They're like a team of their own. It's almost like a type of neutral that everyone has to that everyone has to notice. And they're not neutral though. They're like above neutral. And everybody knows who they are, and they're technically in charge sometimes. So you'll see. Let's see here. Find another example of a high angel. Oh yeah. Wait. I didn't get there. Damn it. Oh no, I can't get there. All right, let's try this over here. Oh, death. No, that's a fallen angel. Death's a fallen angel. Let me see here. High angel. Who is this guy? Master Bard. Oh, yeah, duh. These guys over here. The Table of Lost Grace. Let's go over here. This is kind of funny. This is another high angel over here. Be all-knowing. Talk to this guy right here. This guy over here.
You. What is it?
He's kind of a throne of God of his own. He lives over here somewhere. And I'm not going to say that being a mess in having a building that's on fire makes you not a high angel. But this place over here is kind of its own throne of God. So you'll meet these people over here who they kind of come out of nowhere. They're the tarnished or whatever that is. And they're all very unique. So there's this sort of, this is called the round table hold. These guys over here might be high angels. They'll get into a boss fight. Where did all them go? They're all gone. Where's the other ones? Oh, the finger readers. Maybe. These guys right here. Finger readers? Maybe. They might be high angels. Let's see. They don't look like it though. They look like fallen angels. And they look like fallen angels, so those are probably very maybe neutrals. I mean, you look at them like they're neutrals, but you see, those might be high angels actually. It's a bit of a stretch to say those are high angels. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You can tell the vibe. Heaven is all about artwork, so usually there's an artwork that they're going for. Let me see if I can do some other high angel. This place over here. I think the tree knights are high angels. But see this little grove over here with this thing? You walk up this thing and this little place over here doesn't necessarily belong to anybody, but it's holy. You wonder who it belongs to. And it's kind of like I'm talking to God all the time. So I would say one of the number one signs that a faction is a high angel is it's almost like you're talking to God. So if God were one of the competitive teams in heaven, he might have these public shrines everywhere. And it's almost like you can visit these public shrines, and then when you fight them, it's totally up to you. So this Colosseum over here. Let's go over here, actually. It's good. It's probably pretty good. So high angels, it's kind of like dueling with God himself. Team Holy. See this building over here? This is a Colosseum. You can kind of see it. But this probably belongs to a high angel. It's almost like if a seraph were fighting. So let's go over here. No. But that's what high angels are. Let me show you a neutral angel. Let's try it. Let's find another neutral angel. Another neutral angel. It's a pretty good example of a neutral archangel over here. I think one of the allures of being a neutral angel is that you're nicely nestled in with everybody. You get to see a little bit of everybody, a little bit of everything. So this is probably a neutral over here. Team Brown. Team Brown, not too light, not too dark. Team Brown. Team Brown. Probably neutral angel. So, if you understand the concept of sovereign neutrality, you'll know how to tell the difference between light and dark angels. Because a true neutral kills people who say that it's anything other than neutral. So you have to see that there's a six-wing form to everybody. So if I were a neutral angel, put on this outfit over here. If I were like a neutral angel or something like this, and we're dressed kind of like this. If I were some kind of neutral angel and I was dressed like this, and let's say I'm neutral, so I'm just standing here and I'm minding my own business. There are 6 wings that every angel can have. 2 wings, 4 wings, and 6 wings. And those symbolize the different tiers of sovereignty. So if somebody is a dark angel, for example, their bottom wings might be black or dark in theme, maybe white, but with maybe a bit more sharp looking. And then when you have the next layer up, you might have something called a neutral aggressor or a neutral defensive. Or you might have an offensive neutral. There are interesting things that go on in government. So you might be asking, what is a neutral? What would be an example of a dark neutral aggressor? Dark neutral aggressor. Let me show you a dark neutral aggressor, actually. Dark neutral aggressor. Not light, not neutral between light and dark, but a different kind of neutrality. So there's 2 kinds of neutrality, and don't get confused on my language, but I'm going to show you a type of dark neutral aggressor over here. This girl might be a neutral aggressor. A dark angel, neutral aggressor. What does that mean? Let me show you. See these people with no heads? They have no heads. That's a form of neutrality, isn't it? Watch this. Dark neutral aggressor who starts attacking because you're nearby. Has no head. Kind of dark. This is an example of a dark angel neutral aggressor. It has no head, and it's only attacking because somebody is there. Well, not necessarily. This is sort of a defensive. Yeah, neutral defensive. So, but it could be a neutral aggressor if you consider that this army of headless people one day decides to stand up and just go move somewhere. So they move somewhere, and if, let's say they move over here and there's a bunch of people in the way, they would kill them. That's an example of a neutral aggressor. It's a type of sovereignty. You have to understand how governments work. But those are types of but those are the differences between archangels. So I'm going to show you an example of two types of dark angels fighting. This guy right here, some kind of there we go. Give me the pants. There we go. So I might be a dark angel right here. This guy right here, I might be a dark angel aggressor or something. Which means for literally no reason I attack people. And I'm a dark angel, so I'm this guy who just comes out of nowhere and I fight people for no reason because I'm an aggressor. An aggressor. So I'm just come up here and I'm gonna start fighting these people. And that is an example . So you might be wondering, what are some of the reasons the Dark Angels fight? There are plenty of reasons. Number one, I personally am a type of Dark Angel fell in love with nihilism. I'm a Dark Angel that fell in love with nihilism, which means there's no fucking reason. There's no reason for anything. So, for literally no reason, there are things that I do. And it's a type of sadness that I love. So, let's go in here, for example. One example of why Dark Angels might fight people is because everybody is too weak. They're a type of bully. Let's see, if you walk in here, this is a type of Dark Angel right here. They defend sacred relics. So you're going to see that if I were this Dark Angel right here, I am defending some kind of story. So maybe there's a thing. See, I personally, I'm what's called the last knight, and this is a thing that I am. And when we go to heaven, there's a whole theme. It's very beautiful. That's the whole point. The point of heaven is to have this beautiful thing, and this is kind of like what I am. I'm kind of this thing that defends artwork, because there's really no reason to be doing anything except things that satisfy the nihilism, like artwork. So this is a beautiful temple here, and I, for literally no reason, sit here and I defend these beautiful I defend my relics. So as a dark angel, I might build sort of this interesting little treasure trove, this little secret heaven in the snow, and we operate as a secret society, and it's kind of fun to hide and seek. It's fun to play hide and seek in the snow, in hell, sneaking around and talking to each other in very assassin. My Archangel Kingdom is very assassin looking, and we sneak around. We sneak around in hell, and we love hide and seek, basically, and we love being mysterious. So you might see these interesting fortresses with artwork, and if you were to find me in heaven, you might find a place like this. I actually really like ruins. So you might find some ruins like this and wonder, what is this random, beautiful place doing in the middle of hell? It's because that's a dark angel heaven. It's an interesting, beautiful, little mysterious place, and I love that. So that is kind of a dark angel thing. And I am hungry for certain things. So I might be somebody who wants that protected, but I also live in the snow, and because there's no reason, I kind of manufacture a reason to exist. And living in the snow, I don't personally live in the snow. I don't think I'm going to live there. I sometimes will, okay, but I'm not specifically snow related. I'm not going to sit here and tell people that I plan on living in the cold. But I might live in challenging conditions due to the nihilism, because there's literally no reason to exist except to overcome these challenges. So you might see that I get hungry. So for example, an example of the dark angel hunger might be, it's a little cold. It's a little cold. So it adds something to do in the forever. So because it's cold, maybe we need to go find some fire. So the quest becomes, dark angel, go find me some fire. So I would probably go over here, find me some food, go find me some fire. I might craft some kind of thing. What is that? Frenzy Flame Stone. I might craft something cool. Some kind of ooh shiny. Right. So we dark angels like to play with glow sticks in the dark over here. Go build me some glow sticks. Go find me a story. Go find me a story. So the dark angel will literally go out and find some kind of a story. What kind of story? Who is that guy? So let's pretend for a minute that these guys over here are our dark angel neighbors. And they have dark angel reasons of their own. They might be headless neutral aggressors, which means they literally just fight anybody who shows up. So we are funny neighbors in heaven, and they establish their rules and I establish mine, and we have an embassy and we know each other. This is an example of the dark angel versus the dark angel. These guys So these Eclipse soldiers kind of wander around like nomads, and they build some kind of a thing. They're an army, and that's just kind of the thing they do. So that's another example of a Dark Angel fighting a Dark Angel. So there are a lot of things that Dark Angels are, and what I said was something noticeably dark. So I'll show you a. Let's go to a light place over here. A place that isn't snowy. Dark Angel Heaven. This place up here, yeah. This place is a Dark Angel place up here. Dragon Temple. This is actually a Dark Angel Heaven. Let's say this is a third. This is a third Dark Angel, and they focus on dragons. And these guys over here are particularly scary. They're very difficult to live with. These guys are very difficult to live with. So if this is a third Dark Angel, there's usually some kind of a narrative. This guy, during his life, he built a story, and his story had something to do with always repairing the crumbling fortress of his narrative or something. Yeah, so you might go up here. There are different reasons why Dark Angels would fight each other, but I gave you one example. Boredom. They might choose to live with evil. They might choose to live with evil. So there's an interminable boredom. So go find me a story. And that might be kind of a Dark Angel thing. Now, if I were to be a Light Angel, let's go over here for a minute. Let's go to this place. Waterfall Basin. Oh, I didn't go in there yet. That's what happened. If I go over here to the Light Angels, I might dress up a little bit differently. So I'm going to wear some black, but I'm going to be something light related. So right now I look a little bit like an assassin. I might be this with some of here. It's a good light. Angel light helmet. It's kind of on this level. It's a little bit of a neutral right there. That's kind of good, actually. So, I'll do Cuckoo Night. Cuckoo Night. have the Cuckoo Knight helmet. Oh no. I don't have the Cuckoo Knight helmet. Alright, we'll wear the circle then. There we go. Got a harp bow. There we go. I think I need a mask of some kind. Let's get the light helmet. Some kind of harp bow. Alright, fine. That's cool. Let's actually stay focused here. Check that out, that's so cool. There we go. Yeah, this is my angel of light over here. A little too godly, a little neutral actually. I'm a little neutral looking because I'm a little too thunder and lightning. Yeah, those muscles are a little. I think those muscles are rippling a little too hard. Something like this. Okay, so I might be an angel of light if I look something like this. Okay. We're gonna move along. Let's get my gear back on here. So I'm talking about right there. Death ritual spear, yeah. I don't like talking about death. Death is misleading. So usually the Grim Reaper teaches people about dark angels, and he does some things that are dark, but I like to talk about him like he's a neutral. He's a neutral. Death is sort of a neutral concept, and when you're immortal, everybody dies and comes back to life. So I don't like talking about death, but there is sort of this scary, spiky thing. You can probably talk about torture. That might be a dark angel thing. But what you'll notice about dark angels is that they're very holy, and this is based off of the left hand of God. So I'll give you another example of a dark angel. It would be the angel of trust. The angel of trust. You might think that's an angel of light, but that is actually an angel of darkness, because trust is only found in hell. So it's kind of a dark thing to talk about trust. The beauty of trust and mercy. There's another angel called the beauty of no. Yeah. So that might be an example of a dark angel. And so I might be this guy over here with kind of a bad attitude hanging out in these angel of light places over here. And fallen angel is pretty easy to understand. They're usually there for all of the unworthy. So if I go like this, and I replace this dark thing, replace this dark spear with one of these funny things over here. So now I'm looking a bit more like a fallen angel over here. And I got some kind of blood and gore omen. What is this? Clinging bone. Here you go. This bloodstained dagger. This is a very good fallen angel thing. So you need to learn the difference between fallen angels and dark angels. See this kind of rusty knife that I found in somebody's old shed? That's kind of a fallen angel thing. It's a fallen angel thing. I'll tell you why. It's because rusty knives are probably not allowed in heaven. I like to teach about rusty knives. A rusty knife is the difference between an angel and a fallen angel. A fallen angel would use a rusty knife. Might be nude, might act like a caveman, but they act in ways that are unworthy of heaven. So they're usually going to be kind of ugly. That's usually what fallen angels are, kind of ugly. The other kinds of fallen angel things are things that are illegal. Black market, illegal goods, slanderous items, things that require a lot of specific attention before they become legal. That's what fallen angels are. So fallen angel heaven is going to be this kind of black market heaven, and this game, almost everything in this game is fallen angel. See this black knife here? It's fallen angel as hell. That's an example of death. So you might think that's a dark angel. See that thing right there? You might think that's a dark angel. It's not a dark angel. Let me show you the difference between dark angel. See this knife here? That is fallen angel as fuck. That is a dark fallen angel kind of knife. Nobody wants to play you. Nobody in heaven would want to be fighting anybody with one of those. So if I swap over to a dark angel weapon might be this right here. Let's see. My lady. Might be this. I'll show you something. Dark angel weapons. Helfen's steeple. Still a little too fallen looking. Down here. A little bit neutral. But how about this? Check this out. That's a little bit neutral right there as well. Let's put some clothes on. I'll show you something over here. So right here I'm looking kind of neutral actually. Looking a little neutral. So if you look at me, I probably give off a vibe that says neutral. A little sharp. My face might look a little dark. So let's wear something kind of neutral looking. Something like this. Yeah, there you go. Now I'm neutral. Whatever that is. One of these. Now I look kind of neutral. Now if I want to look dark, probably take this off and then I go like this. Okay. So now I probably look dark. Because your initial impression of me is probably going to be threatened. So, I guess you could say dark angels are kind of like tigers. They're beautiful, but they're threatening. So if I give off a dark appearance, that's kind of what dark angels are. And then if I give off a light appearance, it's probably something way happier looking. That's feminine. Or that. This is kind of a light angel thing. People with this thing that looks fun. Hit you with this thing that looks fun. Like this thing. This might be a light angel, actually. It's kind of like you almost want to get hit by this sword. It's kind of an angel of light thing. And my magic might be something like right here. Probably some kind of defensive thing. So when you talk to me, I'm probably unthreatening looking. I've got a defensive wall. I've got some colors that are not so hostile. Nice and friendly looking. I got this sword that you almost want to get hit by the sword. It's so cool. Look at this thing. How sick is that sword? Kind of laser sword. Let's go over here. I want to get hit by this fanciful bug wing here. Nice round hatchet. No. Yeah, this thing right here. I want to get hit by this musical instrument or something. It's kind of angel light thing. What would they fight each other over? Well, light reasons. Maybe one of them is... Where did I find? Let's go over here. It's probably very important for these angels of light over here to light this fire because it looks cool. And those angels over there, these angels of light over here, these angels of light over here are too busy being the beauty of nature. So they're going to fight because they're the beauty of nature, and I'm going to fight because this fire looks cool. That might be a little bit of a neutral thing. Fire thing, yeah. The fire looks cool is a little bit of a neutral thing. I might fight them because it's a good example of why I would fight these angels of light. They're the beauty of nature, and I am without friends or something. Maybe I'm grace itself. Maybe this is where I live. They're the beauty of nature, and I am grace. Or not grace, but you see this little candle thing here? I might be something like the angel of rest. So I'm the angel of rest, and over there is not the angel of rest, the angel of not rest. That's too much of a high angel thing. Angel of light. I am the angel of light. No, that's a little bit of a high angel thing also, to be honest. Yeah. That's like a high angel of light. He's the angel of light. I'm the angel of fantasy. So I tend to hang out over here, and I look fanciful. I'm the angel of fantasy. I run over here, and I meet the angel of the beauty of nature, and we fight because we have a name to execute. So if I am the angel of, it's almost like narcissism. It's almost like narcissism. I'm the angel of fantasy, and they're the angel of the beauty of nature. And so they would probably express themselves through music or something. So if you fight those guys, you'll see there's a girl over there with some kind of a music thing. And I would fight them because I am building a story. Building some kind of a story about fantasy. So, Angels of Light and Angels of Dark have their different reasons. Let me get back into my gear over here. We'll talk about the next thing. So why would a dark angel fight a light angel? Let's say I am the last knight. I am the last knight. I'm the dark angel of the last knight. And these guys over here are the light angels of the beauty of nature. Why would we be fighting? Well, I am probably doing something. What's this? I am actually an angel who gets hungry. I get hungry. So I come over here, and I might be looking for a story. And the story, something I have to come up with on the spot right now. But I go over here often because I declared war. Let's pretend that I declared war on the angel of the beauty of nature. So we are at war. So this is when a dark angel is sneaking through light angel territory. Now, light versus dark, declaring war against each other, that's very important. You have to understand that in heaven, they have war declarations. You'll see that this angel of darkness, have already declared war on this angel of light. And we, because we're in holy warfare, if you want to call it that, that is a funny phrase. It's not holy warfare. That is actually kind of a hell thing. This is a thing that heaven is. Everybody's a thing, and when you join an archangel, you're joining this kind of there's usually a story. Every archangel is interesting. They're a story. They have an identity, and I am the last knight, and this guy over here is the beauty of nature, because he probably spent a lot of his life upholding the beauty of nature. And we're fighting because we declared war. So that's pretty basic. But let me kill this guy for a second. So let's say I just won. The reward I got was these thin breast bones. I received some of these right here. Thin breast bones. And obviously there's stuff that I have to do. And so as a dark angel, it's fun to uphold my name. And I might be okay with some of these bones here. I'm probably okay as a hunter. So I probably do have a lot in common with this angel of light over here. And we are a type of friendship. And that's what heaven is. So there isn't a type of peril. There isn't any kind of peril. But dark angels and light angels are probably going to be fighting because heaven is fun. And I probably enjoy collecting their bones because I'm a hunter. I collect some of these ingredients over here that they can only be found by killing people. So that's a little dark. And some of them might attack me because they receive some kind of interesting notoriety to their name. They might pose embargoes or something. Every archangel is different, so they have different attributes. This Archangel of Darkness right here might be very nomadic. So you might see this dark angel walking through the forest like this. You'll see him walking through the forest like this, and he's just kind of dark and mysterious. And these guys over here are an enormous providence of these kind of celestial groves. Celestial groves. So each archangel is different, and I'm not a nomadic lone wolf thing. I am the last knight, which is a metaphor for the Sabbath of war to uphold and defend a country. So if you met me in heaven, I would be a group of soldiers that look kind of like this, but we do fight very spread out. We're not lone wolves, but we do fight very spread out, and I think I focus my. Somebody made a suggestion, somebody from God made a suggestion that, based on things that I act like, that my soldiers are very highly trained. Seldom, but very highly trained. And it's kind of a funny thing that I like. They're not big, they're not strong, but they are very highly trained. They're very agile, and they have all the gear they need to sneak around and go special places. I call them shock troopers because that's based off of something. Somebody is calling them knights. Yeah, I have. That's a little bit of a weird thing. I am the last knight, but that phrase is from England. So, as you can tell, there's some. There's a little bit of work to do on my kingdom. I haven't built it very much, but I am an archangel. I'm giving you a basic example of what it's like. Now, if I were a seraph, I would be something that kind of watches archangels fighting. So if I were over here, let's go over here. I think there's some over here. Oh, this place. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Okay. If I were a seraph, I would kind of watch archangels fight. So I'm going to pretend to be a seraph for a little bit. Now you're probably wondering, what is the point of a seraph? There's a lot of stuff that seraphim are. Seraphim are, if you ask me what a seraph is, I tend to define them as civilians. Very large civilian angels. They're not athletes. They're not athletes. They're not competitive. But they do have plenty of flowers. They probably enjoy gardening, landscaping, making all of this cool stuff. So if I were a seraph, I would go over here to Stormvale Castle. Let's pretend I am the seraph who owns Stormvale Castle, and I am overlooking the land. It's a rainy day, isn't it? Are we done raining? I might be a light seraph, I might be a dark seraph. It has been raining all month. Are you done raining? What is your problem? Oh, it's still raining. It's still raining. Dagnabbit. It's been raining all year. Oh well, let's go up here. Ooh, I think I just ran out of time to make the video, so I'm going to end this video very soon. But if I am a seraph, I'm probably overlooking this beautiful land, all of this stuff down here, lots of castles, can't see anything. I think this video is ending. I ran out of space. I will see you later.